We recently had our 1-year anniversary as a business, and I was just kind of reflecting upon how I felt when we first opened up and how that's changed after 1 year of being a business owner. First week we opened, I was actually really bummed. You've got something you've been building towards for a long time, you've been dreaming about for a long time. Every day you're inching closer and closer to finishing the build out, and then when opening day comes, you expect it to be fireworks, you expect it to be this epic life-changing moment, and it's really not. Change of plans. I actually felt worse and more defeated when I came home from that first day being open than I'd felt during all of the build out process. Part of it was frustration around what I felt was a lack of planning and a lack of training leading up to being open, but part of it was that I just didn't feel that feeling, and it left me wondering if I was missing out on something. Was I doing it wrong? Is this what it feels like to own a business? Because this doesn't really feel that good. I thought that I was supposed to be so happy, and I wanted to be so happy, and I started wondering if everybody else who owns a business feels happy and I'm the only one who's not happy. Is this just what life is like? It was very confusing. I didn't know how to take it. I've got to say that none of these feelings were due to lack of support. When we opened, people came in, people from the neighborhood, friends, family, a lot of people showed up to lift us up. The staff was enthusiastic. Nobody did anything wrong. There wasn't a miss in that way. I just wasn't feeling it. There was also a certain amount of cultural dissonance going on. So my favorite places to hang out were always skate shops. It's this anything goes, hip hop or metal on the radio, people talking shit to each other. That kind of vibe, I love it. And I always said if I opened a place, it would have that kind of vibe. 3600 Portola was never going to be that place. I knew that. I was okay with that. I had no illusions of that. But I think once opening day rolled around, it was a little harder for me to swallow that pill than I thought it was going to be. And it's not that I didn't like the vibe that we were bringing in the shop. It just felt so disconnected from what I had always dreamed of that I felt kind of like an imposter or like a fake. And this mental state basically carried on for months, and I just kind of started to accept the fact that this is how it feels to have a business. All of this started to change, and it started changing so slowly that I almost didn't notice it at first. It wasn't like a all of a sudden moment. It was kind of like the culmination of this week that I had, and I came back home and I realized, hey, I'm feeling pretty good about stuff. And it's not just this week. As far as I can remember, if I'm pressed to think about it, I've been feeling good for a while. And if you had to ask me what it was that made me feel good at the time, I don't think I would have had a good answer. But looking back at it now, I think I have a pretty good idea of why that started to change for me. If you have this type of business, it's bigger than you are. You probably have more passions than just making really good coffee. You can make really good coffee at home and be a home barista. You've probably got deep-seated ideas of how you can have a big impact in the world, how you can hopefully change someone else's life through the business that you have, through the product that you serve, or the service that you provide. Now, there's a lot of things that motivate me to do what I do, but I think with Cat and Cloud, the idea that really started to make everything click was the idea of empowering people. A big part of what motivates me is remembering what it feels like to be in your late teens, early 20s, have a ton of passion, a ton of energy, a ton of ideas, and having no one take you seriously or having no path for progression. Before I go any further, I'm not a hippie, woo-woo kind of have it for free kind of guy. I believe that you need to work really hard for everything that you have. And if you're not an intrinsically motivated individual, not super hungry, not willing to put in the hours, the extra hours, the extra effort, I'm not about it. For me, it's not a charity case kind of thing. It's about taking people who really want it and giving them the opportunity. I got really lost in that thought. Okay, so what I started to see over time was our employees were kind of owning our culture. But more so than that, you've got people that had such a vested interest in what we believe in that I felt like, I don't even know what I felt like. I don't even know how to describe it. I guess it was the first time that I felt like the business was bigger than the 3 owners involved. And that over time has changed my mindset more than anything. I don't have kids, but I feel like it's the complete opposite thing that happens when you have a kid. You know, people say you have a kid and once that child is born, you're brain chemistry changes, your whole outlook changes immediately, just like that, and you're suddenly this whole different person. Things are in a whole different perspective. I feel like this is the opposite of that. The more I start to see the potential and scope of things we can do, the more I like it. It's like literally building this relationship and building this journey, and knowing that day one, that first day that we opened, that was not the destination. It's a cause for celebration in and of its own right, but it's really just the start of the journey. We'll have to finish this tomorrow. I'm gonna make dinner. Okay, I was kind of on a wild rant yesterday and maybe not making any sense. What I was trying to say is this: having a vision in your mind is a very powerful way to maneuver forward, but I can't even begin to tell you how powerful it is to see other people pick up your vision like it was their own and just run with it. And by this happening, suddenly all those little things that were kind of bugging me seemed a lot less important. Now after a year, do we have everything perfectly figured out to a T? No. Are all our training and systems dialed in? No. But all those little annoyances pale in comparison to the positive payoff. Do I still want to have a place where I can play Wu-Tang and everybody in it can talk shit to each other in a safe place? Yes. Maybe it'll be a little boutique coffee shop, maybe it'll be a barber shop, maybe it'll be a skate shop, clothing shop, I don't know. But again, because of the buy-in we've gotten from our team, those wants and desires don't affect my cat and cloud experience at all. People are complex, they want a lot of different stuff, but we shouldn't let the things that we want affect our experience with the things that we do have in our life that are positive forces. At the end of the day, I think this was a little bit of therapy for me and hopefully helpful for someone who is thinking about opening their own business or already does have their own business and struggles with some of these things from time to time. Because I do think that there is a stigma around talking about things like that because you don't want to make it seem like you're not bought into your own business, or there's this culture of pressure to when people ask you, hey man, how's it going? You're like, yeah, totally good, awesome. But the journey through business ownership is much more complex than that. It's like any other relationship. It takes work to find out where you fit in, how you can be the most effective, how you need to treat the people around you, and how you receive that in your brain. Hope you found this useful. Thank you for letting me dump my therapy onto you. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Comment below. I appreciate all you out there. Stay dialed, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.